Hey, so I wanted to also include kind of like a spoken intro, or really an idea of what this guidebook really is, and my perspective and take on the eclipse. As I don't really come from a super astrological, logical, scientific perspective, I really take this in an energetic and metaphysical and spiritual way, in terms that when I think of, a full moon eclipse, I think of the feminine in her shadow, right? The moon is, represented by the feminine, and the moon is physically in Earth's shadow. So for me, lunar eclipses often represent, the feminine's shadow. What is she hiding from? And there's a lot of stuff that comes up emotionally and subconsciously as we're in the shadow. And so for me, I feel like eclipses and lunar eclipses specifically are all about that kind of like death of the feminine, like that transmutation of the feminine shadow. And what I believe is really coming up just energetically in our world for specifically this lunar eclipse, not them in general, but what it feels like energetically right now, because lunar eclipses and solar eclipses are all about the feminine and masculine, and that's why it's so interesting that they always happen around, well, they've been happening around 12/12, is that it's really like the feminine is going to be in her shadow and really seeing and questioning and asking herself, how do I perceive the masculine? How have I been reacting to the masculine's wounding since 1010 portal? And we see this every year, but since 1010 portal, this is a trigger mark for the healing of the masculine. This triggers the masculine energy to be a lot more like evidently wounded, and we've seen that on a global scale with political corruption and all of these kind of physical evidence of how wounded the masculine energy is on our planet. And so this lunar eclipse is really asking us to go inside, and this can be from a feminine or masculine person, like female or male, but from your feminine perspective, like how have you been treating the masculine? Like what's your perceptions of the masculine right now? Like how are you vibing with the masculine? How are you reacting to the wounded masculine structures, whether that's on an internal level, your own wounded masculine, any masculines in your life, or on a global scale? Like how are you reacting to this? Because this is the shadow of the feminine, and that's what is typically healed through lunar eclipses. So we're going to be healing that shadow, because then comes total solar eclipse on December 14th, where we're going to be going into the sun shadow, right? We're going to be going to the masculine shadow. And what I really feel and see from these experiences is it's just a balance, and it's a reset of the feminine and the masculine energies on this planet. And it's beautiful, because then we kind of go into, after the 14th, we go into our beautiful winter solstice portal. We finish off the 12/12 portal, and then we go into the 1/11 portal again in January 1st. So lots to do with masculine, lots to do with feminine, so much incredible stuff. And so I've created a guidebook for you, a mini introduction guidebook to introduce you to this eclipse from a more spiritual, metaphysical perspective, as well as giving you tools such as like common themes that occur, so you can really begin to understand the eclipses on a deeper level. We also go into a guided ritual for setting intentions, which is really going to help you work with the energies of this eclipse portal. This is also something that is timeless, and you can use, any eclipse cycle. There are things that are specific to this eclipse, such as the themes and the introduction, but things such as intention setting, you can really use that for anything in your life. We also go into a lot of stuff about suppressed emotions, repressed childhood emotions, because the full moon brings up all these subconscious emotions. Eclipses bring up emotions. It can be a chaotic time. So I thought I would include that as well. It's an emotional check-in worksheet, which is really going to help you with your emotional well-being. And then it ends off with 15 beautiful journal prompts to help you really, come to terms with what you're releasing through this eclipse portal, begin to see what is going to come out of this, work through the blocks that are coming up, and then just some really cool journal prompts that just have to do with the energies of the Gemini, Sagittarius, eclipse cycle that we're in now. So if you're interested in that, please click the link in my bio or the description box below, as this will be posted on multiple platforms. And I look so forward to helping guide you through this lunar eclipse in Gemini on November 30th. Peace.